Hello and welcome to another episode of Bill Plays Atari Darts. Today in the darts tournament, it's a match between the evil Dr. Cigarette, which is DC for short, against the mighty One Patch Method, which is what I'm using to quit. So this is a bit of shameless promotion for my hugely unsuccessful quit smoking method called the one patch method. I'm going to have to set up the joysticks. Right, numpad, that might work. Control, does that do anything? I always have this problem if I put so input joysticks, arrows plus key set A I'll need to use, and that so up is up on the cursor, down is left, right, and fire is left control. So we'll try this now. Left control, no. Oh, what's wrong? What have I done now? What do I have to press? You have to key set A. You have to press scroll lock, I'm not sure. Why won't it work? Joysticks. I use the controller, that might work. I've got a cheap Xbox style controller. No, that's not working. Paused. Oh, hello. Paused. No, that does nothing. I'm having severe difficulty starting the game here. Key set A. Keys which are used by joystick emulation are excluded from other functions. Scroll lock. Right, where's scroll lock? I can never find these keys. I don't seem to have a scroll lock button. Oh dear. Oh, look at this. It's gone into attract mode, as it's called. Look at these colours. This has never been seen before on Bill Plays Atari Darts. I'm sure some of you are having epileptic fits by now. Arrows plus right control is fire. So my keyboard doesn't have a right control. Oh, you just press enter. Oh, that's simple enough. Right, so I'll set it back to key set A. So because Mr. One Patch Method is the most perseverant person in the world, he's going to go to 1001, and Dr. Cigarettes would prefer 301 because he's so impatient. And of course, the One Patch Method wants a double to start and skill level 9 because he's in for the long run. So first of all, oh my goodness, I set the speed to 2000 somehow, 2000%. Right, there we go. Run at 100% Atari speed. Even so, the hand is going all over the place. And this is Dr. Cigarette. Oh no, Dr. Cigarette. You're not very good at all, are you, Dr. Cigarette? That's an 18, so no double. So Dr. Cigarette is still on 1001. And One Patch Method is having a few troubles, but he's got the double 15 to get off the mark. And Dr. Cigarette doesn't know what he's doing, so he's going to go for a single 4 and a single 2 and a single 15. But there's no doubles, so he's still on 1001. Stupid, stupid Mr. Cigarette. One Patch Man calmly and coolly goes for the treble 20 and we'll ignore the 1 and the 3. That was a really good treble 20 from Mr. One Patch. And Dr. Cigarette is going for the bull, but there are other words involving bull that could be used to describe Dr. Cigarette and his evil nicotine. The One Patch method is struggling, but he's got a solid score of 19 there, and this is a 7. Dr. Cigarette is having a nice snooze because cigarettes, of course, are drugs and they're evil. But no, he's got the double 4 and the treble 20. This is the risk with Dr. Cigarette. He can be quite sneaky, and Mr. One Patch, our hero, has got 27, I believe that is. What's 859 minus 832? I think it's 27. 1 times 3 is the same as 3 times 1. That's a bit of maths for you there. Something to do with sets or I don't know, set theory or something. If you're a mathematician, you can tell me why does 1 times 3 equal 3 times 1. And One Patch, Mr. One Patch is still in the lead, and Mr. One Patch is going to use his psychological powers to trick Dr. Cigarette. Dr. Cigarette's aiming for the treble 20, but Mr. One Patch comes in and punches him on the nose, and he gets 3-0. Mr. One Patch, our hero, is really struggling with this skill level number 9, but he does manage to get a solid 16. Dr. Cigarette is going for the treble 20, which might be a good idea as it happens. And he's got a wire. That's exactly what you deserve, Dr. Cigarette. You deserve to hit the wire. Mr. One Patch has decided to go for the treble 20 and the single 20s. They seem a bit bigger on the board than the treble 19. You can count the pixels of it probably, how many pixels. That seems to be 6 pixels wide, the treble 19, and I don't know, maybe 5. Dr. Cigarette has gone for the 1 because he's depressed by himself with all his cigarettes. One Patch method is going for the 20s as you do. Is that a treble 20? Oh, this is just a single 20. 673 remaining. Dr. Cigarette just wants to get the game over with so he can go for a cigarette break. But Mr. One Patch has all the patience in the world. He's going to go for treble 18. Oh, it seems like fate is not on his side, but we'll see who wins in the end. The tortoise or the evil, nicotine, poison, toxin selling Doctor. He's actually related to Doctor Who. Uh, Doctor Who has a cousin called Doctor Pooh, and Doctor Pooh had a son called Doctor Cigarette. That's just nonsense, isn't it? Well, what do you expect? Doctor Cigarette has got a wire, a 1, and a 0. That's more than you deserve, Doctor Cigarette. Mr. One Patch, our hero, is really struggling, but he's managed to get a solid 40 with 541 remaining. Doctor Cigarette is scoring quite heavily. 48 scored, but our hero, One Patch Method, quitting Cigarette Man or person. We're not sexist on Bill Plays Atari Darts. All of the characters could be man or woman, whether it's David Cameron, Boris Johnson. They're all man and woman at the same time, especially Boris Johnson. Our hero kicks Dr. Cigarette in the shins, and he gets a 0 to finish his throw. One Patch Man goes for the treble 19. And he gets, so what's that? 20 plus 5 plus 3 times 3 is 34. He's aiming for the 1. This is how much of a silly sausage Dr. Cigarette is. He aims for the 1 because he knows deep down in his heart of hearts that cigarettes are a mug's game. Mr. One Patch, as you do, sometimes you go for the 20 and you get a 5. He's gone for the 20 and he gets a 0. That's extremely bad luck. Dr. Cigarette says, I've had enough of this. I'm going for the 3. Uh-oh. Oh, he's got a wire. I thought that was a treble 17. But fate is on the side of the righteous. Let's go for the treble 16, says Mr. One Patch, never failing to provide entertaining numbers to aim at. And he aims for the 8 and actually gets a treble. And another treble, which is just what you would expect. The sun shines on the sun shines on the righteous. I don't know. Dr. Cigarette gets 3 zeros in a row. 372 to finish for Mr. One Patch. Oh, a solid 40 there for Mr. One Patch in his lovely blue jumper. Dr. Cigarette's jumper used to be blue, but he smoked so many cigarettes that it turned into a sort of brick red. And you can't see from this angle, but Dr. Cigarette has actually wet himself. And he's actually that much of a... well, there's nothing wrong with wetting yourself once in a while. Dr. One Patch, Mr. One Patch, is going to wet himself in solidarity because he's such a kind man. But Dr. Cigarette says, I know I'm evil, which is why I'm going for the 1 and now the 4 to get a low score, because I want Mr. One Patch to win. 288 to win. You can't get 288 in 3 darts. Well, I think it's an 18 by chance. That was lucky. All the luck is going Mr. One Patch's way. And that's good grouping from Dr. Cigarette, but if your grouping is off the board, you actually get 0 points. We all knew that, didn't we, said Dr. Cigarette, but secretly we all think that Dr. Cigarette is trying his hardest and still getting very poor scores. Now, what Dr. Cigarette is going for the 9. Oh dear, he's missed. He's going for the bullseye. Oh dear, Dr. Cigarette has missed. 3 darts in a row, 0, 0, 0. Now, as you all know, you can go bust on 180, which is what Mr. One Patch started on, but you can't finish in 3 darts on 180 because you need to finish on a double. Dr. Cigarette is having an extinction burst, and he's trying really hard now. And he still only manages to get 40. So 140 can be achieved for Mr. One Patch. Oh, this is really difficult. That's a very good score of 50, leaving 90. Dr. Cigarette has it all to do, but he's trying so hard to make Mr. One Patch give in. Mr. One Patch is thinking, if this carries on, I'll have to go to the shop and buy a 20-pack of Richmond. Dr. Cigarette says, that's exactly what I want. You go and buy a 20-pack of Richmond. But Mr. One Patch says, Richmond sausages is what I'm going to buy. And he leaves himself double 15. Dr. Cigarette is crying. He's really unhappy. And he aims for double 2 just for the moral victory of getting a double 2. Mr. One Patch looks at the double 15. Oh dear, he's got a single 15. So what does he want to leave? Ideally, he'd want to leave 12, I suppose. So we'll just try. 7 will do. I was trying to bust it, but it didn't happen. 539 throwing for Dr. Cigarette. 40 scored. Double 4 required. Is it there? No, it was almost there. I thought it was there. Oh, this is very close. He's got it! Thank you for tuning in. Sorry that it was so long. I don't do many 901s, or what was it? 10,001? I can't remember. Tune in next time. Thanks very much. Bye.